Good morning. It's 10:15. Center Agriculture. I'm going to spend some time with the Vermont Fairs and Field Days Association. We have a room full of beautiful people. So we are going to listen to whatever they'd like to tell us today. And good morning, sir.
Thank you.
The floor is yours. Just tell us who you are.
Thank you. I'm Bob Allen. I am not affiliated with any of the directorships of any of the fairs. However, I am a past president of the Vermont Fair Association. That's why I'm affiliated for Jackie here today.
Oh.
She takes some to some committees, I take some to other committees, so we have time to sit down for a minute. I want to thank you for your time.
Yep.
First and foremost, we know how busy the folks are and trying to get everything taken care of here the next few weeks. But we really want to have a little bit of a discussion about what the fairs have done with the monies that you have given us over the past year. And also, I have handed out an economic impact that the fairs bring to Vermont. There's one word in there that's misspelled and it's intentional, so we'll see if you read it all the way through. It's not intentional, but that's Jackie's and my little joke to start. I have with me 5 fairs: Robert Condon from Vermont State Fair in Rutland, Cindy Cahart from Addison County, Randy Beamer and friends from Memorial County, Chris Vance from Caledonia County, and Sarah Knoll from Franklin County, who is starting back up again this year after a 1-year hiatus. They have found some land, a lease up in Franklin County, and she'll tell you more about that, so I'm not going to try to steal anything thunder. But anyway, they are going to have a fair this year, and we're pleased to have Sarah Senator represent. And with that, I'm going to get out of here and let the fairs tell you what they've been doing, something important rather than just.
So where is budget?
What's that?
Budget.
Found it already. All right. Anyhow, who wants to start? Randy or Chris or Robert?
I guess I'll go first.
Oh, yeah. Everybody's looking at me, so this. Well, thank you, senators, for having us here today. Again, I'm Robert Condon. I'm representing the Vermont State Fair in Rutland. First off, just as we always do, say thank you. Thank you for including us in the budget. The stipend funds and the capital grants funds are really instrumental in allowing us to accomplish many things. And my board, for example, this year, just to tell you a brief story, looked at me when I presented my budget and they saw that our porta potty line item was 0. And they said, there's no way that's right. We spend, a few $1,000s on porta potties a year. And I said, no, with our capital grant money, we were able to build the last restroom and we don't have to rent porta potties anymore. And also, looking at environmental impact, that's environmental impact too, because you don't have chemicals, you don't have all of the pumping and all the stuff that has to happen, and it goes straight to the Rutland City Sewer Treatment Plant. So that's nice too. So that's just a practical example of what we've been able to do in Rutland to help alleviate an issue. So we appreciate that. Looking forward, we are required to do some work on our grandstand from the Division of Fire Safety. They want some aisles widened and some handrails added, which is going to be a headache, but it's something that they've told us we have to do. So our capital grants money going forward is going to be dedicated to meet their, at least a portion of it dedicated to meet their requirement of basically for the next 8 years. I think it works out to, we have to do an aisle a year to get in compliance. They're being gracious and they're working with us over time so that we don't have to do it all at once, but it's something we have to do. We also are looking to, we lost a machine shed a few years ago that had to be torn down, unfortunately, due to lack of maintenance. And this year, part of our grant money will be a seed to get that rebuilt during this time. So we're currently working with engineering and getting all that taken care of so that we can get it back. And it's already in the footprint for all of our water stuff, which we can talk about for a second as well. So we're looking to get that rebuilt before we lose that ability to do so. we always get the question, what about the 3 acre, rule, right? So the 3 acre rule, we, thank you for, again, going to bat for us. We did get our grant, secured, and our engineer is gonna be starting when the snow melts, doing, the engineering work. We still, face significant barriers, I would say. Our site, continues to just be a struggle. The size of the site, the grades and the slopes do not conducively yield to a collection point that everything can run to. Being that we also have infrastructure dating back to the late 1800s, we've been told to be prepared to essentially have to replace all the infrastructure when we start digging that, the electrical lines, the water lines, the sewer lines, and it's just going to be a massive, massive undertaking. We really aren't here to talk about that yet because until engineering is done, we don't know the ins and outs. So
Was the grant that you had, was that the $50,000 that came from A&R to do that?
So we had that plus the portion of the clean water funds that you folks were able to secure on our behalf. So we are right around $170,000 is what's been allocated. The engineering study for us is estimated to cost anywhere from 150 to 200,000, but the engineer seems to be confident that what we were awarded is going to cover at least the engineering cost.
Okay, good. So we move it down, we move it to the next step, right?
That's going to be the first thing.
Thank you, sir. Has the fair ever thought of selling that property and moving to a better location? Has that ever come across? Not that you want it because they're so historic, but
our deed and our process, because the property was donated, stipulates it can never be sold.
okay.
So that's one of the barriers we are in, and then our infrastructure being in. I mean, I would hate to even estimate in this day and age, we probably have $50 million worth of infrastructure that, I mean, between all the buildings and all of that, and that's just spitballing. I don't know what it really is, but I mean, it's millions and millions of dollars worth of
So
infrastructure.
the deed itself will keep you from doing that, so.
So again, thank you for me. I don't know if you have any questions for me, but that's kind of a quick overview. And again, appreciate you all.
Just a thought, just glad that, some of the pressure of what we felt in the past and being not from that area, but being sympathetic to senators and the Rutland region and all of the state of Vermont. I'm glad to see that some of the pressures seem to be subsided a little bit as far as, not that there's not any less urgency, but it was looking pretty dire there for a while. So
It was.
glad that some of that softened.
Thank you. And yes, thank you again for the funds and for the work you did to take some of that pressure off last year. It's much appreciated.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Cindy? Chris is calling.
Chris, go ahead.
Either one. Either one.
Good morning, Chris Vance with Caledonia County Fair. I apologize, I left my pictures in House Ag earlier, so
It's all
I
good.
have nothing to share, but I'm sure that I could speak to it. Again, as was mentioned, do want to thank you again for the support of the stipend and the capital grant, clarification, I think, but it's we all participate in the funds that are given equally, so no fair gets more than another fair, which I think is great. We'll just share with you the stipend money that we get, each year, which is $12,000 to $15,000. Goes, is very helpful. Our premiums last year were 71,000. So, and that is just to, participants, horse pulling, cattle folks, rabbits, you name it, for all. Just as an example, capital grants, I've spoken to this in the past, but I'll speak to it again. It's near and dear to my heart. Speaking of dire circumstances, it was mentioned earlier, just share with you this little Caledonia record from 1993. This is when our grandstand arsons burned down the grandstand in Caledonia County Fair. I was not involved with the fair at that juncture, but would tell you that we were basically on the verge of going out of business and being another statistic of a fair no longer operating in the state of Vermont because we had no midway, we had no grandstand, and we had no money. So, Caledonia County Fair was basically in 1993 pretty much belly up. It was due to the grace of the state and, you folks in supporting and a grant to help, build the grandstand, and then subsequently the capital grants that have, drastically changed our infrastructure from what once was a decaying, kind of going out, buildings, to what stands today. And no disrespect to my counterparts here today, but I would consider Caledonia County Fair one of the show places in the state of Vermont. That's just me. I'm biased. I'll tell you that. Speaking of capital grants, so I've talked about this in the past. The capital grants, I believe, is critically important and is very, very beneficial, mainly because it really it forces all of the fairs to get creative and think about what is it that they want to do for a project each and every year. And again, without that push, without that little bit of a, heading in the right direction, I would just fear that we would take the path of a lot of folks that, just go by the wayside. But because of capital grant money, that's something that, we actively pursue. And we really look at it as seed money. Again, the capital grant provides us around $35,000 a year. That $35,000 a year once upon a time went much farther. There's not so much anymore. But the $35,000 is, like I said, is an opportunity for us to get a project started, for us to go out and solicit local community, businesses, and, go about that. I would just share that I mentioned this last year, but, last year in 2025, we completed the expansion of the Lawrence Arena. So the Lawrence Arena, we put 14 feet on each side, moving spectators outside, moving a small animal barn on the other side, and the judges, which once upon a time were inside the show arena as well, move those outside. I would just tell you that, by all accounts, Caledonia County Fair has one of the largest show rings in New England. And again, we are, doing those because we, again, pulled the New England Holstein show out in New Hampshire a few years ago. They're extremely pleased, have not yet seen our upgrades. But again, they have signed up to stay 3 more years. So that's beneficial. But just for fun, in talking about capital grants, the entire Lawrence Arena was built in 2002 for $56,000. And last year, the extensions, the 14 feet that I'm talking about, the sheds that we put on each side, cost us $120,000. So again, those projects, are expensive, but again, they're important to continue to drive, people wanting to come in the community, supporting the fair. The last thing that I'd share that, again, just for information point, is that, big things going on or something going on this year at the fair, in addition to the, the capital grants that we want to, start this year. But we are working with the University of Vermont and putting up a weather station in Lyndonville, Vermont, basically because after the massive flooding that we had experienced over 2 or 3 storms, UVM came to us with the proposition of just saying, look, we don't have good forecasting in this area. There's, because of the mountains and stuff, there's no way for us to understand what's going on over here. And we would love to put up this 30-foot weather tower. Again, we started the process last year. We went through the town to get approval. And in the spring, we will construct a weather tower that will be monitoring river heights and all sorts of things. But again, that's something that we provided to them at no charge. And so that, again, supporting the community, we just thought it was an important thing to do. So I just share that for what it's worth as well.
Well, I want to have a little personal note to that. And another company that I own, we spent a lot of time at the fair this year, and it was quite a pleasure to be there. The efficiencies of how that's ran And I think that you missed one valuable point of talking about all the participants that make you successful. And I think it's you guys. And I think a lot of people in this room could say that. I think Dick Lawrence would be very proud about what he would have seen going on in Lindenville and what you guys have built. And you're absolutely positively correct. I will go out on a limb and tell you that you're the best fair, but I do have some, input as far as with that. And we as far as being there with my radio stations and doing what we can do to help promote it. It's a very easy event to be part of, and we're appreciative of all what you folks have done. Very much so. So thank you. Thanks.
Feel free to move that desk to sit there if you want.
Oh, okay.
Oh, desk.
Now I get all the best there, right?
You have a question?
No. I named you.
Okay.
I'm Cindy Cahart from the Addison County Fair Field Days. And I first want to thank you for all you guys did for this year. We are set. We re-permitted, we re-engineered, and we've gotten our grant money so far, and we're all set to build it. So it's like.
So the chair of this last committee, Bobby Starr and myself,
Mhm.
fairness, Chris Bray.
Yeah.
Spent a lot of time with Julie Moore of A&R, and I'm glad those are some tense discussions that we had. But I'm glad that we were able to get that forward because I think it opened up the doors for a bit more unease and permitting, and I think it started a very great discussion about how important the fairs were to the community. So yes, so we thank you for being able to pass along the great news.
Thank you. And Selena has been wonderful, Selena Rooney. I mean, at one point, I finally said, he asked this person and they asked that person, and he said, she said. So we had a Zoom meeting with people from everywhere and from our board, and everybody's questions. Our engineer was up there. All of us heard the same answers to the same questions. And after that, it's been smooth sailing. So it hasn't been the nerve-wracking monthly meetings of what are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? So I feel very confident that by the end of this year, ours will be done. Whether it's this spring or next fall, depends on the weather. So,
Well, nice.
but yeah, it's wonderful. And our capital funds, our capital grants this year, we're building an it's called an antique house that Bill Rollo's building, and it's gonna house our antiques that are now held under a tent. And it's one more building that we don't have to rent tents for. That's our goal, is to keep the infrastructure growing so we don't have to rent tents that are expensive and hard to get and get destroyed when you have winds. So that one's been on the board for a little while, but we're finally building that. And a year ago, I think after one of our big rains, we improved where the rides are placed, made that more stable instead of Addison County Clay to put their big rides on and pull out with huge cranes when they were done. And we've used it for septic. And like Chris said, it's seed money. So when you start a project, you're not starting with $100 donation. You have something concrete that you can say, yes, we are going to do this, and work from there on it. So,
How was your attendance this year?
very good. It was not quite the biggest year, but very close to the biggest year. We didn't have to deal with Mother Nature at all. The weather was wonderful. And at one point, our grounds man, Leonard Barrett, came in the office at like 5 PM, and he says, "I'm bored." Like, it's okay, Leonard. That means things are good. If you're bored, things are good. So yeah, it was actually a wonderful, wonderful fair.
Good.
So
You didn't get rained out this year.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
Yes. Everything was full. I mean, since COVID, we've had trouble having all the exhibits full and everything, but last year was the fullest it's ever been.
Good.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I even, learn how to judge the cows.
There you go.
Yeah, that's.
So we've got a guest judge that can make the circuit, is that what?
Yeah.
I'm not sure how good it is. I just learned how they do it.
I think he's
Yeah.
better at judging at the pie eating contest. Well, thank you, Cindy. It's
Yes.
very good to hear, the optimism, coming from Madison. So, thank you.
Well, like you say, I can't thank you guys enough. It's been
Well,
wonderful
we
working.
can't
with
thank
you
you enough for building community and we appreciate that. You know, we work very hard in this committee, to move Vermont forward, but to keep Vermont as well, and to keep the traditions alive. We will fight for the smallest person or the biggest person, and if it's anything to do with agriculture, you have friends in this room that believe the smallest things are the most important to the biggest thing. So to have some optimism is very welcome.
Well, thank you. Who wants to- You're next.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Randy Bean and
I got you.
I am from Lamoille, Field Days. This is my first year involved as president of Field Days. I was elected president last year in October at our annual meeting. This is my 5th year being involved with the Field Days. Once again, can't express enough our deepest gratitude for the capital grants and stipend. Last year with the capital grant, we upgraded our horse arena. We switched it from grass back to sand, make it more compatible for the horse people, that much better area. We did some upgrades. We had erected one of our existing buildings, Harlow Hall, was in dire need of repair. So basically, it was more or less a new structure. Metal structure was put up with the capital grant money last year. This year, with our capital grant money, we are putting overhead doors instead of slide doors on our 4-H barn. Where we erected the new steel building for Harlow Hall, the center of the building where the old existing building was asphalt. And this year, part of our money, we're gonna be removing that and have it like one complete concrete pad. I mean, it just makes it last longer. I mean, our asphalt, it's kind of like the way, you know, when you, and we use that during our field days for vendors to be in, so that is upgrading it. We also replacing at the moment at our back area, it's like a sliding gate, steel gate, and if it freezes in the ground, it's wretched. I can't keep doing this. But we're gonna have the swinging doors gate, so easy access. That's basically our main access during the winter month. Also this year, I'm excited about, normally since I've been involved, we pretty much did our field days and then we rent out our buildings for weddings, things like that. This year, we're adding 2 more events. We're putting on a car show in August, and I have just basically thrown out run what you run, but I've got to change that because some people are thinking that sounds like they're going to come here and go drag racing. No. Basically, you have a vehicle you think that's what we want. Just where it's community, everybody just come check out everybody's. We're open, you know, having the food booth open, serve hot dog and things. And then in September, the 19th to 20th of September, we are hosting Working Dog trial competition. And they are very excited about that because at the moment there is not many areas in Vermont where that is put on. I know Caledonia has it, the working dog trials, which is awesome because I went to it last year to see it. So and they're very excited about being able to bring it back. And I also too want to thank, I mentioned this upstairs in the house, Cheryl Audette has been working in the cook shack. This is my great granddaughter, Jenna. For the past 5 years, I have been the animal barn. That was my baby. That little girl has been there every year with me all 3 days. The first year there, I had people coming up, you gotta go over to the animal barn. And I'm thinking, oh goodness, why, what's happening? There's this little girl over there this big, and she's got a huge load in her wheelbarrow, and she's heading around. I know, okay, I know who that is. That's okay. And just,
If you wanted to make her blush, you've succeeded.
that's good. But that girl, she is an asset. And I mean, we just thank all of our people are volunteers. And there has been a great uptick in interest for people approaching me about, oh, thank you, what can we do this year? And it's well, that's what I'm watching. But I think that's it for me, unless you have questions.
Well, I think, the hardest part of COVID, is starting to really recover, which is, community involvement again. And it wasn't so much that people were afraid of getting back involved. It's just that when you take them out of their cycle for a couple of years, it takes time for people to find find what they did before valuable. But it also is dependent on what they're going to see. And what we're hearing today from all of you is that you are offering something that that people want to come back to. You know, you can say that you want to build community and then not do anything, or you can build community and then have people come and be a part of it. And that is why it's so easy to be part of these capital grants. We wish it was more. We've tried to raise it over time, but we're appreciative that you're appreciative. We're appreciative that you're. I think this is the first time I'm going to speak for myself, and the senators, other senators can certainly add their thoughts. But this is the first. First of all, it's really good to see everyone. I mean, Zoom has been helpful, but there's nothing that's any better than eyeball to eyeball. That's just the way that it is, and so it's very good to see everyone. The second thing is this is the first time that I've actually heard a lot of optimism from everyone. We all know that things can be better, but you know everything's not perfect. And thank you for bringing optimism into this room and telling us how good things are versus how they're not. And I appreciate that.
Well, thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So welcome, everybody. I happen to sit on the advisory committee too for the FAIR Act, the grants applications, and Jackie's with me on that. I think it's 35,000 and it's been fairly flat for a while. I don't know for how many years, but to the chair's point, and you've got 3 members of the institutions committee here, it would be nice at some point, probably won't be this year, if that could get bumped to 40 and 45, because there's always, and I think, you know, it was mentioned before, you put a barn up for 52,000 and 10, 12 years later, it's double. So everything else is going up, and I wish we were able to do more. I'm really heartened to see Franklin's back in business.
Yes.
And the Vermont Farm Show will also be back next year.
And I did hear that. That is incredible.
It's a little later than
It's going to be in April,
Yeah.
still at Champlain Valley, and from what I understand, it's only going to be one of the Miller buildings, not all of them like we had before, and it'll be more focused on farmer market type and farm stands. So they're really going to be promoting the farm piece of it. So it'll be different. But as we were talking upstairs, they were asking Orleans when they're going to move that fair back to August, and it has to do with carnival rides and all that. And I said, well, people are still asking me, when are we moving the farm show back to Barry? And we're like, oh my God,
Yeah,
please no.
I remember it, Barry.
Yeah, I know. That was a
We go
tight
back.
bit.
So anyway, it's great. Wish we had more to give you, but,
We appreciate everything. I mean, like I said, it gives us a base and go from there. And, you know, my thought, I mean, I've been involved and of course I see what's, so that was my vision, what we absolutely need and then go from there. And I think we're going to achieve our goals. So, well, good. Thank you.
If I have time, is there time? Hello, everybody. Thank you. Thank you for all that you do for the people and agriculture. I'm Sarah Noel. I am with the Franklin County Field Days. I'm the secretary. I am fairly new. A lot of this is new to me, so please educate me and inform me. Yes, the Franklin County Field Days is back this year on a temporary site. We have a 2-year lease with a potential for a third. And in that time frame, the goal is to find money to buy the land. Because as you all know, we don't have land. The state no longer leases to us, so we do not have the availability of that property to utilize for the fair anymore. So our biggest hurdle is finding land and then finding the money to purchase land. We have looked and searched and searched. A lot of Franklin County is wet. A lot of Franklin County is conserved. There's not a lot of availability. So that means looking at land that costs a lot of money. Right now, we're looking at 2.4 million for 47 acres. I know it won't happen overnight, but I am optimistic that the community will rise up because agriculture is extremely important, as you all know. So anything I can do to move the needle, find funding, please let me know what I have to do, who I have to contact. I am a volunteer, and this is only my sort of second job. I do have another job that I have to attend to at times. So I'll do what I can for agriculture in the community, but I need help. Can't do it all myself.
I think this year your best bet is to buy a Xerox copier, and because it is very, very tight. And
I know.
It really is, and we get it. Because I'm going to tell you, as I had said in some of my comments about the optimism of, we had some pretty dark days with some of the fairs. I know Rutland was all of them, but I know Rutland was pretty scary, and I know Addison. We were talking a lot about that, and you know, all of them, they've all, you know, it's all been there. We're on better ground. So yeah, optimism, and we just try to move forward.
Thank you, Grace.
Thank you. Well, thank you. Yeah,
Where in Franklin, where are they looking to purchase that property that it's?
It is behind Tractor Supply and Total Home Center off of exit 20,
Oh, okay. That makes
where the temporary site is. We are working with the landowners to put together a purchase and sales agreement.
what's on the land now?
It is cropland, it is hayland.
Okay.
Have you talked to the land trust?
Yes, I have. They will not allow a fair to be run on land trusted land. They would help potentially conserve acres if we had purchased land where acres could then be conserved, but we can't purchase land that's already conserved. And that is due to a rule in their rule book, and it would take an act of Congress to change it, I was told. So yes, I have.
Okay.
well, thank you. Appreciate it very much. You guys
Thank
have
you.
a great rest of your day in this building, and thank you for coming to Montpelier. We appreciate seeing everyone.
Yes.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you very well.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Committee